Hello again, everyone. So we discussed the Twitter data, and we said we had this little file that had about 18 or 19 tweets, and each tweet was stored in one single line. And if I actually can show you this here better, um, do this, you will see that every tweet here is stored in a single line. And the line has three different components. One of them is a timestamp when the tweet was sent, and the second component is the person who actually sent that tweet, and the third component is the actual tweet. And as you will see here, these three components are actually separated by these bars. Okay, now the job for us is to read the tweets, read the entire data set, the file, one line at a time. And we also have to separate um, the timestamp from the people who tweeted from the tweet. And we also have to identify if there was a hashtag in the tweet, if there was a handle in the tweet that somebody mentioned somebody else in the tweet, like this person here, C1 Leon mentioned NX Lima. So we want to be able to identify these mentions in the tweet, and everybody knows what a hashtag is. Here it is, and that's one example of a hashtag. I'm sure there are some others. Here it is, another one. That's another one, and so on and so forth. And here's another one too. So the idea here is to show you how we can use the string Python library and do the processing for the tweets that we have. And we have fun and we learn some really good skills. So my very first number one is to read these lines all of them together and put them in a list. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to define a function, and let's just make it a little bit bigger. Define um, tweet data, and this is a function here that will take the actual file name as a parameter. So we're going to pass the file name as a parameter, and this file name will be instantiated when we actually call this function in the main from the main function. Speaking of the main function, let's just define a main function here like that. And before we forget, we actually call the main function here, so we know that we have everything we need. Okay, so now what? I'm just gonna get this file name here, and I'm gonna open it using the open built-in function, similar to the print, similar to the type, similar to the int, similar to all kinds of things that we use as built-in functions. And it's gonna take the parameter, it's gonna take the file name here, and it's going to return the read file handle. So this handle here, if I use it, I would not want to lose it. Yeah, that's correct. Read lines here, because it's gonna give me the list of the lines in the file, and lines here. This is done, so I'm going to return that one. Return the list of the lines here. Okay, like that. So now let me call this function here and see what we're gonna get. So here's how we're gonna call the function. Remember, the file name is called 20 tweets right here, and it's gonna be a string. We're gonna have to pass it as a string, 20 tweets .txt, like that. And this is supposed to be giving me the data set or the lines, and clearly that's a list of lines here. But if I want to see what kind of data type that I have in my hand, I'm going to print the type of this lines thing that I'm dealing with. I am calling it a thing. because I don't want to be calling it anything, because I want you to see that this is going to be what it is. It's going to be a type of a list, or a list type. Now I'm going to run the file. Just make the font a little bit bigger. Python string. Okay, let me just make it smaller so you can see the entire file name. And it's going to tell me I have a list here. So if I want to process that list for each line, one line at a time, in lines like that, I'm going to print the line here. I'm going to call it current line, and here's the line. This is going to show me all the tweets that I have stored in this list here. And to make it look really nice, we can separate them by dashes or equal signs like that. Just and as you can see here they are. That is really simple. Okay, now I want to work with these lines, one line at a time, and I want to identify the handles, and I just want to get the handles, the people who send that tweet. Okay, how do I do that? All right, well, let me create a function, okay, and call it tweet sender. And this is gonna take these lines here, because I'm gonna be working with the lines. I'm not gonna work with the file again, because I already processed the file. I opened the file. I captured the lines in the file. So now I need to work with the lines in the file, and I'm gonna read it one line at a time, and you will see now we can actually leverage this here like that. And we don't need the printing anymore. What I need now is to capture this component here. Let me make this smaller a little bit. I need to capture this component here. And if you remember, the file has three different components: the timestamp, the handle, and the actual tweet, the person who tweeted. Okay, so how do we capture the handle? Well, the handle existed the second component, but how do I get the first component and second component? Well, I need to work with that line here, and I need to split it. And I need to split the line based on what? Based on this bar here, because the file is telling me that it's been bar separated or pipe separated. Okay, so I'm just gonna separate it here, and this is gonna give me the splits in each line. And I know that the component that I want is the second component, which will be at index 1, because we always start at index 0. So if I say print index 1, this is surely going to give me something interesting. And here it is. What I'm going to do, I'm going to say current sender, the person who sent that tweet. Let me clear the screen now. And I need to save, I believe. What I need to do now is to actually call the function here, right? I need to call it on the, and I need to pass the number of lines, and I'm gonna comment this guy out, this line here out. I don't want to know the type. I already know it's already a list, so I'm just gonna get rid of this. And now we call this function too. This one here, it's right here. So let me clear my screen one more time. And sure enough, it's gonna give me the person who tweeted, and here it is. And the second person who tweeted, here it is. And third person who tweeted, here it is. Last person who tweeted, last person right here and right here. Perfect. So now what? Now I also want to get the list of tweets. Um, but before I get the list of tweets, I actually want to store those guys in the list of senders. And it's going to start with an empty list. And instead of printing, what I'm going to do, I'm going to append the handles here to the list. So now when I return, and remember the return is going to be outside the for loop, because if I return inside here, I'm only going to return the first handle, which will be this one, because I will immediately exit after that. So I need to return after the for loop has done its work. So this return is going to be outside the for loop. Okay. Now this is what we need to do. Now suppose I want to get the actual tweets. Okay, we're gonna define another function. We're gonna call them tweets. Tweets are good. Or tweet text. Well, we know that the tweets are actually text, so I'm just not gonna worry about it. So I'm also gonna use the same parameter. I'm gonna pass the lines. Okay. Again, there's nothing right or wrong here. I'm just showing you my way of how I can capture this, and how I can split in multiple ways. So you're welcome to do it differently if you feel like, why do I need to create another function here if I've already done it? That's correct. But for the sake of demonstration, I like to do things over and over so I can show you how to do them, how to be comfortable doing them. So I'm just gonna copy this exact same thing, but the tweet is gonna be the third the third element. This is the third element here, and the third element is gonna be at index 2, like that, and those are gonna be the tweets like that. And instead of, then we don't need these print statements anymore. We know we've done it right, but I need to define, instead of list senders, I'm gonna say list of tweets, and I'm gonna start it with an empty list like that, and this is gonna be good. Okay, if you don't believe me, I'll show you. Here are my tweets. I'm gonna pass the lines, and remember, this is gonna be the text like that, and it's gonna be a text list. Now if I want to see one tweet at a time, let me just move here. Okay, now I'm gonna say for each tweet in the tweet list, if I print the current tweet, then I'm guaranteed to see something nice and beautiful. You go, oops. Let's take a look again. Tweet. Oh, okay, because it's called, let's call it tweets, because now tweet and tweet are that makes it ambiguous. So let me call it tweets and clear the screen. Okay, function, something is not right. Okay, tweet sender, which line is this? 36. And it's going back to what function that is. 28. 28 is this guy here. Okay, what does it not like? Tweets. The tweets takes the line. We define the function. Okay, object function is not iterable. Okay. Well, this is the tweets that we called right here. And let me save and clear the screen and run it one more time. Okay, what is not iterable here? For some reason it still thinks that, okay, let me call it TWT like that. For some reason it's still thinking that the tweet variable here that still belongs to the function name. Let me just do this one more time. Okay, what is going on? Okay, let me just comment this guy out. So we have the lines here. Okay, for each. Okay, let's take a look here. Well, let's call it tweet text. Okay. Oops. I think I know what happened. We called it tweets here. We should have called, yeah, we returned the wrong, we returned the function instead of returning the actual list. Let's clear the screen again. Tweets is not defined. Okay. Line 27. Tweets is not defined. Where is tweets? Tweets is not defined. Okay. Because we changed this function name. Here we go. Clear. Okay, here we go. So you are guaranteed, like I said, to find the tweets that you're looking for. And now let me just put the lines here, and I'm gonna clear the screen again one more time. And here we go. Here are the list of people who tweeted. And as you can see, some of the tweets are really short. Some of them have handles and some of them don't have handles. Okay, but we have the tweets now. That's really nice. Now how do I identify if a tweet has a list, if a tweet has a hashtag? How do I get a hashtag to begin with? A function that is supposed to be get hashtag, supposed to be taking a tweet, is supposed to break the tweet into, here's a tweet, supposed to break the tweet into words, and these words are supposed to be analyzed. If they start with a hash sign, then it's a tweet. If it doesn't start with a hash sign, then it's not a tweet. That's really very simple. Okay, so let me just take that tweet here, parameter that we're passing, and we're gonna split it. And if you don't specify the kind of split mechanism or device that you're using, then you're guaranteed to be splitting by the default, which is actually what? A space. That's right. Here it is. So now I'm gonna call these guys the words, because these are the words of the tweet. Now I'm gonna ask for each word in words, and I'm gonna ask if the word starts with, if word dot starts with a hash sign like that, then it's a hashtag. Then I'm gonna store it. I'm gonna get the list of the hashtags. So hashtags, that's gonna be a list, right? Because a tweet may have more than one hashtag, that's for sure. And we talked about this during class. Okay, so here it is. I'm gonna append, and if this word indeed starts with this hash sign, I would like to store it here. And when I'm done, I'm gonna return the list of hashtags. I'm gonna start with those. I'm gonna store those. So now we have the tweets here. Here are my tweets. If I say get me the hashtags, sure enough, it'll be easy. Get me hashtag. Well, let's call those hashtags, right? Hashtags, get hashtags, like that. And it's gonna take the tweet here, right? And I'm just gonna get rid of the printing here because the printing is annoying. And here is my list of hashtags. Like that. Now I could also immediately print the list, which I don't recommend, but because I know that every list here has not more than 3 hashtags, I believe, from this data set. So I am just gonna print the list as it is instead of putting it in a for loop and printing again with using a for loop. Or we could actually do that. Let's do both. So that would be my hashtags. Here they are, list of hashtags. Okay, and let me run this. I'm gonna clear the screen. Let me tell you what we're doing here. We're reading the line. We're reading the data set one line at a time. We got all the lines here, and then we extracting the text from the lines because the line has 3 different components, and we're reading now one line or one tweet at a time, and then we're passing this line to the actual function that will extract the hashtags, and we're just printing them if there's or printing them as a list if the list has more than one hashtag. We'll print 2 or more, otherwise it's only going to print 1. Here we go. And as you can see, the first tweet has 1, second tweet has 1, third has 1, and the next 4 don't have any. But this one is interesting because it has more than 1 hashtag. But as you can see, it is actually printed as a list here. So if you want to do things in the cleanest way possible, here's what you can do. We can actually take these hashtags and we can print them for each hashtag in list of hashtags, and I'm gonna print hashtag like that, and I'm going to use the end of line, not an end of line. I'm just gonna make it a space like that, or just leave it like with a space like this. And this guy here can actually be used and make use of it. So we can actually show the list of hashtags that happen to be in the same tweet being printed together on the same line. This is exactly what will happen if I put this line here. That's the line here is basically going to show me that for all these hashtags are going to be printed in one line. And let me show you. Okay, there is an invalid syntax. Yes, because I want to say that my end is and is here would be equal. Okay. So I'm still printing the list here as it is. That's why you see it here. But let me also do this. My hashtags are and do a clear, and here they are. Maybe we should actually put an end of line here like that, and let me try it one more time. Clear. Here we go. And okay, why this guy is saying my hashtags? Okay, yeah, because it's going to repeat all the hashtags. So maybe what we need to do um, is to either get rid of this or put it above here. But I'm not gonna worry about it. Let's clear the screen again. And here are my hashtags. And as you can see, if they are in the same tweet, they will be printed together, separated by a space. Okay, now let's do the handle. Get the mentions. If there is a mention in the tweet, let me show you what the mention looks like. This is a mention here. So the person who tweeted is this person, but this person is mentioning her friend or I don't know. But this is also another mention here. So this person here, whether it's a he or a she, is mentioning somebody else. So this is a mention here. So we need to capture these handles, not the people who sent, because we already did that, but the people who are mentioned in the tweet text. That's what we need to do. So let's get the mentions here. I'm gonna pass the actual tweet, and I'm also I can immediately copy this whole thing. It'll be almost identical. Okay, and I can change this into an @ sign, and instead of calling these hashtags, I'm gonna call those guys mentions, but I gotta be sure that I create those guys right. So, and I'm also gonna call this get mentions. So here we called the hashtag inside the for loop that reads the tweet text one tweet at a time. So I'm also gonna do the exact same thing here as well. Get mentions. Let me get the mentions here like that. Get mentions, and I'm gonna pass the actual tweet text, and this is gonna give me mentions list like that. And I'm just gonna print it right away, mentions list, and I'm gonna get rid of those guys because I already tested that, so I don't need to repeat it again. It's just too much noise on the screen. And hashtags are not defined. Yep. All right, wait, where it is? Yeah, we need to change this guy to also mentions as well. So now we're all set. Clear. And here they are. These are the mentions in the tweets. Okay, and as you can see, there are these annoying extra characters that are being appended. So we can also clean our entities that we're identifying by. So instead of immediately appending them here as they are, here's I can basically call the strip function, and I am gonna strip this annoying little thing here, the colon here, so I can get rid of that. So let me do that. And because this happens to be on the right hand side of the word, I can call the right strip like this. Because if I don't call the right strip, it will be checking both ends, the left and the right. So this is a little bit more efficient, and it's definitely faster. And now, as you can see, we've gotten rid of all these annoying things here. Um, what else can we do? I think this is good for today. This is really good. Um, can't think of anything else. We can definitely produce the counts for the hashtags for each hashtag that exists in the tweet, and but I'll leave that for you to think about. It's really easy because now you actually, instead of printing the list, you can actually print the length of the list here. So if I print the length of that list, this is gonna give me the count, current, so many R's, current count of the mentions for each tweet. And as you can see, it will tell me here's 1, here's 0, here's 4. So you can also do the same thing with the hashtags. Here they are as well. And let me get rid of this. You can say current hashtag count. Okay. And let's also say current mentions hashtags count, like that. So that's this. These are the statistics that we can. Something is, we don't need to print these guys. Current hashtag count. Because we need to definitely print the length, not the actual list. So let me clear. And here we go. We can actually make those guys, because one would say hashtag and one would say mention. Maybe we can try to distinguish those guys from each other. Okay, so let me put some dashes, and I'll also show you here that we might want to print a bigger line, print to separate, oops, okay, print. So this is gonna separate, so this line here is gonna separate each tweet from each other. And here we go. So now we see that the tweets, this is the first tweet, and this is the hashtag count, the mentions count, hashtag count, mention count, and as you can see, this line here really separates them really nicely. Okay, so I think this is really nice. Let me go over what we've done again one more time. We opened the file. We created a tweet data to open function that opens that file here by its name. And remember that this file must actually exist under the same file name. Otherwise, we're gonna have to specify the path here. That you don't see me specifying the actual path from here. Clear, but I can show you what I mean. Okay, here is the path where the file exists. So the file exists under my root username, under teaching, and then under playground. This is where the file exists. And let me show you again that the file is gonna run exactly the same way. It didn't break or anything like that. But if I move this file, here into a different location, and it's not under. So the reason why let me explain. The reason why I'm able to remove this handle here, or this location here. Here are the files. These are the files. So the reason why I'm able to do that is because my Python file my Python file right here is also under the same directory. So if both the text, my text file, and the Python file, the source code file, are in the same directory, I don't need to specify this path here. But if this file happens to be in a different location, then I'm gonna have to use this path here to refer to that. But that's why we did not. But because they are in the same directory, then I don't have any issues. So here's how we open the file, created a handle. The handle returns the number of lines. And then here we split the tweet into three components and we get the senders. Here we split them again and we get the actual text. We didn't do very much with the timestamp. And here we take the actual text, the tweet text, and we identify the hashtags, we identify the mentions, and we generate some statistics and so on and so forth. Okay, I think this is good enough, and you should enjoy this little video here because you know what's gonna happen. This is gonna be your next lab. Okay, I look forward to seeing you again when we work with some more interesting things as well. Thank you so much.